guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here at the 2025 edition of the Chicago Auto Show, and I'm a firm believer it's not what you know, but it's who you know to get you up here where I'm standing. And what am I standing next to? Is this vehicle right here. This is it. This is the return of the legend. This is a 2025 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. But before we get into the car that's affectionately known as Zora's Racer, let's talk about what's going on here. So just about a week and a half ago, across the block at Barrett-Jackson was this very car. This is the car that represented VIN 0001. Now this isn't the actual 0001 VIN car, but this was the placeholder that went across the block at Barrett-Jackson that brought in over $3 million. Now the wonderful thing is that money goes towards charity, and the great news for the buyer, they're getting the very first ZR1, production ZR1, to roll off the assembly line. Now, of course, ZR1 has appeared in the Corvette lineup from time to time. A lot of people don't realize it goes all the way back to 1970. It was a C3 Corvette, an LT1 Corvette, which had the high revving 350. ZR1 was added as an option to bring you beefier springs, suspension bits, brakes, and cooling. That was something that Zora Arkus Duntov, the true father of the Corvette, wanted to have for those people that want to take their Corvettes to the track. But what I want to find out is this really going to be worth the price at the end of the day when it comes to the style, the technology, and the outright performance? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our very special one and find out. Right off the bat, you'll notice a very interesting color combination. It's not so much the black, it's more the blue. So for the first time ever in Corvette history, you have the option of blue colored wheels. And this is the page that Chevrolet has been taken from brands like Porsche, where there's more items of personalization. Now, when we come to the front of the business, this has the ZTK option. Now, here's something funny. When I first saw this Corvette ZR1 at the Backgrounder in Detroit, it didn't have the ZTK option on it. So it's kind of interesting how I've been able to see it in its two different forms. When you go ZTK, that's getting you more performance. How are they doing it? They're adding these additional canards with their diplanes, full carbon fiber. And then what's interesting is that on all ZR1s, not just the ZTK option, you are getting the carbon fiber splitter. So there's actually a bunch of carbon fiber bits you're getting on a standard ZR1. Large, massive corner air intakes for all the heat exchangers to get rid of that heat. We have our carbon flash metallic, which of course you'll be able to personalize. If you don't like carbon flash metallic, you could get those color matched as well. Now, as we come across that stealth fighter nose, I've always loved the front end on the C8 and especially on the ZR1. Of course, all the openings have been increased in their size. And if you look closely, there's a lot of details that come right from the C8R Corvette. And if you remember, just about a week ago, I was in Daytona for the Rolex 24-hour race, where a C8R wound up winning the GTD class against Porsche and Ferrari and all the other brands. When it comes to personalization, of course, racing stripes have been nothing new on a Corvette, but you'll notice the stripes for 2025, you're now getting this metallic blue. It almost reminds me of Guardsman blue from the Ford Shelby Cobra lineup, but I think it was smart to do these stripes because with the blue wheels, it just gives it a nice kind of cohesive color connection. We rise up, you're gonna get that front hood that looks just like the one from the C8R. So we have our center heat extractor. You have a single radiator underneath there. So no frunk. This one has that enlarged radiator area. Love the honeycomb finish, the carbon fiber, and all of this is aero that is fully functional, taken from the racetrack to your street production vehicle. Now, as we kind of come around the bend, what are we working with the wheels and tires? You're still gonna get that staggered wheel and tire setup. So up front, you have 20-inch wheels. New for 2025 is this beautiful electric blue finish. Love the way you can clearly see the Corvette name. Of course, the wheels are forged. There's also going to be a carbon fiber wheel option as well. And these are wrapped in the Cup 2R. So when you go ZTK, we're talking about utmost in track performance. These tires are going to give you the utmost in track performance. Tires up front are 275 on the width, 30 series sidewall. Of course, we're going to have that upgraded magnetic ride suspension. It's actually magnetic ride 4.0. And what's funny is if you go back to 1990 with the C4 ZR1, that was the birth of magnetic ride suspension. So GM was the one that brought that to market. Love the way the blue, like I said, with those blue stripes just work really well. You'll have different color wheel options, flat black, silver, and of course the carbon fiber. Another thing you'll notice behind the wheel are those carbon fiber ceramic rotors. So carbon ceramic rotors over 16 inches in diameter, gonna help give you that ultimate braking capability. 6-piston Brembo calipers with the Corvette name on it. This is all performance, not just about horsepower, which this has plenty of horsepower, it's also about suspension and braking as well. Now coming down the side of the vehicle, carbon flash metallic on your mirror caps. You will be able to get these body colored if you choose to do so. Standard on all ZR1s is gonna be your carbon fiber side skirt extension. And if you ever wonder why is it trimmed back over here, it's so that when you get in and out, you don't bang your shoes. Your passenger doesn't bang their shoes on that beautiful bodywork. All ZR1s come 2 different flavors. They come with the removable target top or they come hard top convertible. Now remember, C8 Corvette was the first year of a hard top convertible, and the hard top convertible only weighs 70 pounds more. That is unheard of when it comes to drop tops. Now with this being a target top, full carbon fiber, removable top. I love the way the stripes come all the way towards the back of the vehicle. And then you're also gonna notice what are ways to identify this as a ZR1? Well, besides that front mounted radiator with all the cooling, you're also gonna notice additional cooling on the side. Up top, we have larger air intakes, new air intakes on our rear engine hatch, full exposed carbon fiber, that's ZR1 only. Down below, just like on the Z06, this has been enlarged, but we have carbon fiber standard on all ZR1s, and then of course that ZR1 badge. What does it stand for? Zora's Racer. Goes back to 1970. A lot of people think it's 1990. It goes beyond that. Now as we come around the back, this one has the additional ZTK option large rear wing. Now what's interesting is that the engineers decided to come with a standard wing like this that is not movable. If you know, like the Mustang GTD has all that active aero, the GT3 RS, this is just a pedestal style wing that is not active in any way, but obviously they know more than I do when it comes to that engineering performance. Love the way they sculpted the end plates, full carbon fiber. We get to the back, just like the Z06, they stretch out that rear of the vehicle. You're looking at about 3 inches of extra width. Carbon ceramic, carbon flash metallic on those rear vents on the back. And then just like the Z06, you are gonna get the quad tip exhaust in the center. That GM Performance exhaust, you can keep it quiet to keep the peace, or you can make it nice and loud and let that flat plane crankshaft V8, 5.5 liter V8 really sing. But let me know what you think about the look of this ZR1. We're gonna pop that engine hatch and Lori's gonna let you take a peek of it. All right guys, time to show the heart of the new ZR1. What I love is that they make sure that this is still totally usable. So even though you lose the frunk at the front of the business, you're still gonna get your rear trunk space, but it's not about the cargo. It's about what's hauling the mail, and it's definitely that power plant right there. So you're taking the 5.5 liter twin turbo V8. So it's a 5.5 liter taken from the Z06. That's a flat plane crankshaft V8. And what you're noticing is that angle of the camera is really steep, and it's allowing Lori to showcase what's going on with that engine, and it's really crazy just how low the engine sits. 5.5 liter V8 added with the twin turbos, dual fuel injectors, forged crank, forged rods, forged pistons. When they came up with this engine, it was all about what it was going to be by the time they brought it to the ZR1. So this isn't something that was just guesswork. They knew from the day that the C8 Corvette was born, the Stingray was born, that they were going to go ZR1. And think about the performance. C8 Stingray really was a game changer with the LT2 engine. You're looking at around 495 horsepower. Then we talked about the Z06, 687 horsepower. That redlines at almost 9,000 RPM. We have the E-Ray, and now we have the ZR1. 1,064 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, top speed 233 miles an hour. But what's the craziest number to me is that it does the quarter mile in 9.26 seconds. 9.6 seconds, you can see the engine builder plate, and that bright blue color on the engine cover represents the code name to the C6 ZR1, which is what was called Blue Devil. But you know what? It's not just about what makes it go. You also have to talk about that 8-speed Tremec dual clutch transmission that's been fortified to handle 1,064 horsepower. That's the most horsepower of any production American-made car. But why don't we get inside so we could talk about pricing on the ZR1. All right, guys, we are inside this ZR1 that rolled across the Barrett-Jackson block. Over $3 million it brought in. Obviously, it's not going to cost you $3 million, but you're probably saying, how much is it going to cost for the ZR1? The incredible news is, starting price, $175,000. Now, that's still a lot of money, but when you compare the performance to other exotics, it's a freaking bargain. It maxes out around $200,000, which is still a far cry from anything Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini, or the rest of the bunch. But let's see what the ZR1 has on the interior. To the door panels. Love how they spill carbon fiber everywhere. You got that beautiful blue contrast stitching. More stitching than I've ever seen on any model year Corvette. Dark aluminum finish with the Bose sound system. And then you have enough room in that pocket, just barely, for a large bag of Garrett's popcorn. That is a Chicago favorite treat. Put it in there and munch away when you're ready. More stitching on the bottom, and then you come to the dash. Look at all the stitching, the blue stitching. The one Zonk I still have are these cheap little tabs. I don't like that. But the stitching is on needle point. You have your waterfall of all your seat controls. Another thing that's interesting is the amount of carbon fiber that they put on the door panel and on the center console. In the back portion, you do have your wireless charging and the ZR1 badge. And then these are the GT2 competition seats. Carbon fiber, massive bolstering, bright blue on the seat belts, full electric assist for the passenger and the driver. More of that great stitching up top. One of the other fascinating things is that there's only 2 interior trims, 1 LZ and 3 LZ. There is no 2 LZ on the ZR1. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel that doesn't have your name on it, doesn't even have my name on it. It's got the ZR1 badge on it. Come on over. All right, guys, before we come inside, I want to show you right on the edge of the door, it has that sticker, built in Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's where all the Corvettes have come from since the 4th generation. Before that, believe it or not, they used to make Corvettes not only in Michigan, but also in St. Louis, Missouri. That's Lori's hometown. So Lori loves the Corvette just because of that. Down below, you do have the ZR1 badge. Love seeing that when you open up the door. Pedal box right out of a C8R race car. Aluminum dead pedal, brake pedal, and throttle. You got all your seat controls, easy to get to. Love the high bolstering in the GT2 competition seats. I'm 6 feet tall. I don't know how they do it at Chevrolet, but they make it so usable for all to get behind the wheel of a ZR1. And then the steering wheel, the Alcantara, the ZR1 badge, carbon fiber both at the top and the bottom. You have carbon fiber paddles that go through that 8-speed dual clutch transmission, and there is that 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster and an 8-inch infotainment system. Here's the controls for your Tremec. But it's one of those things, we're at the auto show, I'm on a freaking display. I can't just fire up the ZR1. But so much history going back to 1990 for me. But like I said, ZR1, 1970 and 1971 technically were the first 2 years of any ZR1 name being on a Corvette. And then of course we can't forget the C6. and the C7. They only made it 1 year, 2019. And now here we are, over 1,000 horsepower. I can't wait to take you for a spin. I know you want to go for one, so why don't we go ahead and wrap it up and see what we could do about getting that done here in Chicago. All right, guys, what can I say? This car, just standing next to it, it just has that special presence to it. I got to thank Chad and the rest of the team here over at the Chevrolet booth for allowing us special access to this very historic vehicle, because this is the one that crossed the block at Barrett-Jackson. But let me know what your thoughts are. Are you as blown away by just the outright performance right from the factory with a full warranty of the ZR1, especially for the price? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. Gotta give it up to LGR, man. She really busted her butt on this one. Thank you, Lori, for making it happen. Just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.